A new baby, loving parents, doting grandparents, brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles, the ideal family, where trust, love, and happiness guide life's journey, and couples support each other through good times and bad. Unfortunately, all too often in our country, families are broken and damaged by abusive relationships. Women and children are hurt and injured, and sometimes worse, by the very person who once vowed to protect and cherish them. Teenagers from abusive environments frequently turn to crime or drugs and often become abusers themselves as adults. Many are cut off from family and friends and often stand on the edge of self-destruction. So many hopes and so many dreams, ripped apart, families on the edge of desperation with no help in sight. We can't show you the outside of this house, and its location is a secret. It has to be to protect those within. Each year, over 200 women and children find shelter from an abusive husband or boyfriend at A Better Way. These women come from all walks of life, from all races, from every neighborhood in town.
The ultimate mission of A Better Way is to provide peace to homes, strength to individuals and families, and to have a positive impact on our community. We serve people who are in desperate need, women and children who are experiencing abuse in their homes and need to find safety.
Inside the shelter, families stay together in accommodations set up to meet their needs. The trained staff acts as advocate and friend to help each client move past the immediate crisis and on to more peaceful living.
Every family is facing something a little different from the last. And so we try to assess the needs as quickly as we can. And then once we know what kind of help they're looking for and what might help them find ultimate peace in their lives, then we work toward that. Some folks just need a place to stay for a little while to get through a volatile time. And some people need further education, they need training to be able to find a job, they need housing because they don't intend to go back to where they came from. So whatever the need, we work on that to help them eventually be independent and self-sufficient and able to live in peace.
Time spent at the shelter marks a new beginning for many, a way to step away from the pain of the past.
My ex-husband had a drug addiction that he didn't accept or want to acknowledge, and it was taking a toll on our family. And we had, our Christmas of '93 was kind of the eye-opener for me. There were no presents, there was no tree, we had no electricity, and I had nowhere to turn.
He would kick me. He didn't really leave marks where people could see them. He would literally throw things. I'm not talking about little objects either.
I felt so bad when it got to that point of the actual threats and the I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. I was so scared because I'm a mother and it's not just me. I have to worry about my kids now and the safety of them. And it's like, how can I protect them from any course of actions he would actually take from his threats?
I was ashamed of where I was. I was ashamed of the way I was living, the way I was letting him treat me, and I was just going along with it because of fear.
There was a lot of times I felt powerless, like I had no control over my situation, and that's the worst feeling in the world, that just not having any control over what to do. It's like nobody can help me. I have no control. Nobody understands what I'm going through. I'm powerless.
There was a time where he physically pushed me so hard in the bathtub that I thought my spine had cracked.
I had no money. I had nothing. And A Better Way took us in, and they gave us a room, and they made us feel secure. They made us feel important.
In addition to managing a shelter, A Better Way operates a crisis line 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. someone to listen, to help women and men who are in deep crisis from drugs, family violence, sexual abuse. In some cases, suicide seems to be their only answer.
The goal with the crisis line is to be able to get a person through the crisis situation and then to help them figure out what they can do for longer term help. So we make referrals to other organizations, but we never get off the phone with that person until we are sure they're through the crisis and able to see a positive future.
Sometimes domestic violence comes to light in the local hospital emergency room. A Better Way works with local law enforcement personnel to aid persons at risk and to offer them a place of safety as an option before it is too late. As part of its mission, A Better Way continues to reach out and provide additional help for adults and children using a variety of important programs and services. A wonderful sight, isn't it? Sadly, abuse and violence have become epidemic in our society. An abuser strikes every 15 seconds in our country, and 50% of men who abuse their wives also abuse their children. The number one cause of birth defects is violence in the home. 3 women are murdered every day by their boyfriend or husband.
I was failing at a lot of things, specifically as a mother. That was the most important thing to me when I realized that things had to get better. And the embarrassment with not just society, but just as a human being, just where I was in life, it was hard. I needed help.
I was at the point where when I was going to bed at night, before I went to sleep, I was praying, just don't let me wake up. I don't want to wake up and live this life. And the only thing that actually kept me going was my children, my son.
It's just something you try to convince yourself that everything's going to be okay, and it's not. So shame set in that I had to actually pick up the phone and call them and ask them for help. Would you help me? And that's so hard to do.
At that point, I was scared, but I had actually sat and talked to my son on the way to Muncie, and we had made up our minds right there that what we were going to couldn't be worse than where we were at. Could not be worse.
Sometimes your family has a tendency to coax you into staying in a situation just because that's how it is. That's how life is. And you really, it's not fair for you to put yourself in that position, or them.
A lot of it I kept bottled up. A lot of it I didn't start talking about until we got into the support group through A Better Way. Often
women have not told the full story for a period of time in protection of their abuser. Then when they need support, it's difficult for others around them to really believe what's going on or to understand it. It's scary. People often don't want to get involved. They say that's their business, not mine. But in reality, people in those situations need your help. The best thing you can do is tell them about A Better Way. We can help them. If they need a place to stay, we can offer that. If they just need somebody to talk to and to provide some options, we can do that too.
A Better Way relies on many sources of funding to maintain its programs and services. Unfortunately, many of these income streams have been reduced, a critical factor in a time when the need is greatest. Last year in Delaware County, there were over 1,000 police calls related to domestic violence.
The services we offer are services for people who are in desperate situations. They need help more than just about any other population I can think of. The children need a chance. It's not fair. They've not chosen to be in those situations, and they need somebody to help them find peace. The women have often experienced so much abuse that it's difficult for them on their own to try to make it, but we can be there for them. And the goal here is to have peace in our community. We can only do that by helping one family at a time. A Better Way is the only provider of this type of service in our community, so we've really got to stay strong and be there for those who need the help.
Their first goal is to help you heal, whether it's to help you build your self-esteem again, whether it's some type of addiction that you need to get through, whether it's just the fear of just living life again. And I had that fear. They help you grow. And I think their goal is not only to give you a shelter from that abuse, but to help you grow as a person so you don't end up back where you were before.
Even meeting the case manager, she smiled. She was very interactive with the children. It helped them not to be as afraid of this change. The staff understood what to expect from the children, so nothing really surprised or shocked them. They didn't make you feel like that you should be isolated because you have this exception over here with your children, they're misbehaving or they're acting out. They actually are trained to expect that, and then they help to educate you.
The staff at A Better Way are little angels sent from heaven. They are so sweet. I love all the staff members there. I know that if I need anything or need to talk to anybody, I know that I can call up there and they'll stop what they're doing to listen.
The statistics are daunting. Domestic violence is an uncomfortable issue, one that most are reluctant to talk about. But each of us may play a part by speaking up when appropriate and encouraging affected individuals to contact a service agency such as A Better Way for help. We can also volunteer our time or make a financial contribution.
I just really thank God that He put it in my heart to even call them and for them to be there and have the opportunity for me, because it has done so much for my life with me being there.
I don't feel like I don't want to wake up tomorrow. I've never had that feeling in a long, long time. I don't dread my next day out, I don't dread my next 5 minutes. I look forward to what's going to happen next.
Things have just evolved for me since that decision, and they've only gotten better. I mean, we still deal with the same issues that every other family does. We still have bad decisions made in our family. We still have, the unexpected happen. But in the long run, I can't imagine where I would be had I not made that first decision.
They reach out to families in crisis, helping them see things in a new light, lifting them up, guiding them down a path to a better way.